There we go.
Yep.
Hello everyone. I'm joined today by Silk and Knispel. Hello.
Hello.
Is my
What's up?
webcam focus? Yeah, it's alright.
It's not glitching like it usually does.
Yeah, no, but I have a new webcam now.
No, my LSD streams.
Yeah, no. It's those days are over. We're gonna talk about webcams in the wrong spot. Oh shit, they are. Wait a second.
Hey,
we're gonna-
dude, Silk's looking
Hey,
fucking swole all of a sudden,
We're
man.
gonna fix that. Oh.
See, Silk, you've been hitting the gym
I've
hard.
been in the gym, mate.
There we go.
You're gonna hit
That's-
that.
No, I'm taking that. Yeah.
There we go, we fixed it already. Alright, so let's talk about it, right? How have you guys enjoyed the beta? Silk, let's start with you.
All right. So I'm obviously like a vehicle player in Battlefield. That's the thing I've kind of stayed with Battlefield 4 because it adds a lot more depth to it. And I think everybody can agree that the vehicles are fucking garbage in this game. They have no depth at all, and that kind of stuff is like really, it's kind of sad. But the game somehow has redeemed itself with really good fundamental infantry mechanics. So it is really love and hate. We were talking about it a bit before, but part of it is really good, and some of it is really kind of disappointing. But I think everything can be solved, so I'm liking it so far, and I'm pretty optimistic, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And Nispel, what do you think about it?
It was. I honestly thought it was going to be worse at the beta, but I was pleasantly surprised. But I definitely wouldn't say it's definitely not one of the best betas that they had. I would definitely still say that the Hardline and actually BF1 probably the best betas I ever played. When I played them, I was just like, this feels great. This is good. There's definitely some things that the game needs to really work on, but I can definitely 100% agree that the inf gameplay is amazing. Just it's so good, and I really hope they don't move the movement, which as far as I know they're not gonna, and I think that's a really good thing for the game.
I saw a post on Reddit. I don't know if it's right or not, by a supposedly DICE dev. I don't know if you guys saw that, where he says it's an older build of the game and they already nerfed the sliding mechanic. But I don't know how wrong or right that is.
I don't think it's true, man, because so basically I put up a tweet the other day that went really well. It was basically like, at Drunksy, don't nerf the movement, like if you're too slow, go play squad, that kind of thing. And Drunksy actually responded. So someone said, I'm just trying to find the exact tweet. He said they already confirmed on Reddit they're nerfing the movement, and then Drunksy just said, what are you referring to? And then like a smiley face. So like, I feel like Drunksy he's pretty firm on the current state of the movement, but as always, if enough Reddit spurgs complain, then it's going to get nerfed, right?
Yep.
That's how it's probably going to be F1 all over again. Hopefully not, but
Yep.
it is what it is.
Exactly. And then what I thought of the beta is, at first I completely hated it. I was all against it. I think the vehicle gameplay is still bad. Like it's just boring in my opinion. The infantry is very fun, although it is the wrong map to showcase their infantry on, I feel like. The map is it's all right, but I think there could be something better for the inf gameplay.
I actually kind of disagree. I feel like the map is pretty decent, to be honest. I don't know why, but like the more I played the map, the more I understood like the few rotations to make, and infantry feels really fast paced. But it is those situations where like if your team has, or if the enemy team only has one flag against the other side of the map, and you can't use the vehicle transport system because the iPad doesn't work yet. Yeah, that's when it's really annoying for me. But I thought it was pretty good, this map.
Yeah, it's
Definitely a little bit big though.
Definitely not a bad map, but like purely infantry based, I would like to see something a bit, more interesting.
Yeah, like the kaleidoscope map looks really good.
Yeah, definitely. But I think, especially like with the helis in the game, playing infantry and there's a good heli against you, it's pretty painful, right? Like, I think there's not much.
It pisses me off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so bad. Oh my god! Like I've abused the helis the most, I feel like, but I literally just go like rage against heli players. It's the worst thing ever.
Yeah, I agree. And then the SWAT also, like, it takes 2 shots to kill an attack chopper, I believe.
I've been getting one shot all day. It happened
Really?
like 3 times. I got one shot. Yeah, they maybe
playing,
fixed it.
I was playing with Hunter yesterday, and we got hit by a SWAT like 2 times, and it just like did 50% of our health.
The attack Kelly doesn't give a shit, but the scout was getting one shot from
Yeah,
me
the
today.
scout is one shot. I think so as well.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, look, small is 65 damage.
Oh yeah, the attack Kelly does not care, man.
Yeah, no. And
I've been switch sitting on the B tower, like copping s'mores, and it doesn't even matter. It's fucking hilarious.
And have you
Then
played
the Osprey is just
Yeah, go
Osprey
ahead.
is just another breed.
Oh,
That thing, it takes about like I think I recorded about like it taking like 4 tank shells and it was still alive. Like
Yeah.
it just eats. It's a valid strat for when you get 1v1'd with like a little bird or an attack chopper with the Osprey is to just ram it and you win.
I've been doing this. Yes, yeah. The Osprey is actually high key the best jet in the game. I beat an SU-57 in a dogfight with it. I was playing with Spy, and we were in a fair dogfight, and it's actually a better jet at dogfighting than the fucking jets in this game. That's how bad the jets are, man. And Spy killed it with a grenade launcher, and it was really funny. But yeah,
and then talking
we literally
about
dogfought a jet.
talking about the jets, they are absolute. Like the vehicles are bad, but the jets are just. Man,
It feels like you're flying through concrete. I don't know, like every. It just doesn't make sense that the Osprey handles better than the jet.
yeah, exactly.
Doesn't make any
The
sense.
one thing I find annoying though, like I'm gonna get to it in a second as well, is the lock-ons. Especially with a jet, you have like a jet, you don't hear him, and all of a sudden you're like getting locked, and you have no idea where it's coming from, and then you get jet rammed by some jet that's coming out of space. Like you don't even see him. He's like I don't know how far away, and then all of a sudden he teleports into your face.
Yeah, literally. Like the jet's coming in straight for you. It's like it hits you once, like all right, can't come back. You won't do that again. And it's like flipping everywhere. Like you just can't even shoot it, man. It's just.
Yeah, no,
it's the
painful.
worst thing ever, man. The laggy jets.
I've even tried to shoot heat seekers at it while I'm flying the attack chopper, but you just can't. Like you're locking onto him, and all of a sudden he's like at the exact other spot of your screen. It's insane.
Yeah.
I
remember actually in the technical test. Sorry, I'll be quick. But like in the technical test not technical test, but it was the creator event. Sorry, there was a creator event and. The helis were actually even worse. The helis were laggy like the jets, and Shady and I were 1v1ing the scout helicopter, and it's literally teleporting up, down, left, right, like worse than the jets were. So they fixed that at least, but the jets are still extremely bad. Anyways, and this was saying, I guess.
No, that was exactly what I was about to comment on.
The heli 1v1, yeah, it was hilarious.
Oh boy, that was another dimension in that thing.
But then going on with the lock-ons, let's talk about it. What do you think of it, both of you?
I found that like at least with their jets, they seem to not like when you do manage to get a heat seeker on them, it normally always will actually hit them and kill them. So like when the jet actually does get locked on, it has no countermeasure that actually works. I found that you can actually dodge stingers like even in mid open by just doing spirals. And it just goes into like other dimensions and once again just collides into stuff. But I do find what is a bit game breaking is when you get locked onto, you think you've dodged it, and then you come back up, and then you just get hit. Like there's no kind of like continued warning. That's what I found was a bit disappointing.
Yeah. Well, for me, I feel like half of the issue is actually the flares themselves. If we had ECM, then it would be probably fine, but flares literally last for a split second and you can instantly get locked after. So the only way to actually survive against a lot of locks is to play within a few meters of cover. You can't even venture further than that. So when I'm playing, I'm either on B using the inside section for cover or on, I think, E, which is the rocket takeoff, using the tunnel for cover. You can't do anything else. You cannot be caught in the open for even a split second. Otherwise, you'll get screwed pretty much.
Yeah, I have to agree. The
and
flares,
64 players locking on. I mean, it's GG, man.
and and also the one problem that I have with the lock-ons is that you don't see where it's coming from. Like there is no indicator at all. You're just like getting locked and you have to guess where it's coming from. It's so annoying. Like, there is no target prioritization possible because you just don't know who's shooting you. I think
in a way, though, I'm fine with it. As like Fuzzy's saying, pretty much vehicles should get deleted. Like they're just so skillless that I don't care if they're getting screwed by counters because, I mean, they're not very fun to play and they're not very skillful anyway. So
no, they're not. Like,
Yeah.
I think
Kind of fine at this point.
the first game I played, I said it before, I went like 102-0 in the Scout Heli,
Mhm.
or in the Nightbird,
Yeah.
which is just like, you know, even as a former Scout pilot in other games, right, you shouldn't be able to do that. No matter how much experience you have, you should always have a learning curve. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's just pretty unbalanced, and there's not much fun to it either. Like, anyone can pick it up and perform in it. And I think that takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, literally in the content creator like recording event, I figured out the spawns on like every single flag within about 2 minutes,
Yeah.
and I was just absolutely basing all these content creators. It was just like the game is way too easy to figure out in terms of air vehicles. And yeah, what Hunter's saying is really true. It needs to be miniguns as the main weapon.
Oh, yeah,
It's the primary
definitely.
weapon on the heli. It's the primary weapon. It's not even the secondary.
Mm-hmm.
Yet it just feels like this kind of like tacky thing that you use when you run out of pods.
Yeah, I agree there. But also another problem that I find with the air vehicles is when you spawn, you can just fly into their base and shoot everyone.
Oh, I've been doing this. Yes. I feel like I'm making it a thing. It's the like I have like 600, 700 views on Twitch today, and every single game I do the spawn rush.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm expecting it to become a real fucking piece of cancer lately.
Yeah,
You just rush their spawn. It's amazing. It's good
I
fun.
don't understand what the devs were thinking by not adding a base. It's so broken. It's unbelievable. Oh,
Dude, I have this clip on Twitch where I pull up behind the enemy attack killer. He doesn't even turn around. I'm just killing his entire team behind him. It's just like, it doesn't help that the players are so oblivious at this point as well.
yeah. I also treat. Yeah, I think what the vehicles need is a bit of a rework. To be honest, like. I think the mechanics of how they work, there's not much they can change about it. It's a new engine, and that's how the way it's gonna be. And I think like the damage models and the lock-ons and stuff like that is something that I can fix, and I hope they do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, the just first thing for me, jet physics. Just bin the entire fucking thing. Start from fresh. Start from like, or just copy BF1 or BF4. I don't mind no speed control. That's why I'm saying BF1. I get that if people don't want to put it in the game, you can still outskill people without it, but preferably speed controllers back in the game.
Yeah, definitely. And then we talked about the air vehicles in Knispel. You're a tanker. What do you think of the tanks?
So I did manage to grind my way through Battlefield 5, so I definitely did put up with probably some dumbed down version of the tank. But I honestly thought BF1 was probably the epitome of just casual tanking. It was the easiest it had ever been in Battlefield 1. Got a bit more harder in BF5. And now I feel like the tanks in this game, because we didn't get really the access to like the full loadout, it felt pretty dull. It didn't, like, you just jumped in the tank and there was nothing really else to learn besides from the utility of like the gunner seats. So you had like a proxy scan thing and like a grenade launcher, which, oh my god, drives me insane, because when you have someone, a random gunning for you, it just like shoots up like a lot of smoke and debris. And then because you don't have thermal optics, which is, I don't mind having with thermal or without thermal, but with that, all that dust being kicked up from the explosions of it, I cannot see anything, and it drives me insane. So I don't know why they have a grenade launcher on top of the tank now. So I really don't know why they have that. It just feels a little bit just bland because you have no access to like any other things. So I did went to have a look at what Temporal had on his data mine, and there's supposedly meant to be a HMG later, a close range barrel, which I'm guessing is similar to like the HE shell from Battlefield 4, and the long range barrel will probably be like this, or was it the Sabo shell?
Yeah.
And the abilities, this is what I found. This is why I'm a little bit disappointed. So in Battlefield 4, you have like was it an upgrade and a countermeasure, right? From what I can see, there's only just an ability. Like there's no extra thing to add on top of that. So I feel like the loadout's getting dumbed down even more. So I kind of don't enjoy that. So it was rumored to have a smoke launcher, discharge smoke launcher, thermal smoke, which I'm guessing is the thing for lock-ons, and a system repair, which I'm going to assume is going to be something similar to what Battlefield 1 and 5 had with the get 30 HP back, which is, I guess, the similar thing to like, how you have active protection in Battlefield 4, but that would block in a whole bunch of different damage. And in Battlefield 5, you only had like a limited supply of it, so you had to kind of choose when and where to use it. The gunner seat's meant to have like a 40mm grenade launcher, bounce grenades, EMP, mortar, rockets, shotguns, and the gunner is meant to apparently have a guided missile. I'm not sure if that's
No
like an actual
way.
missile, or if it's a tow launcher, or if it's a TV missile. So I'm very
Fucking
interested
TVs.
to see what that is. And the passenger seat, as I say, it's a spotting like scope with like a pulse like tugs thing. So the fact that we didn't get any access to any of that, I was kind of a bit disappointed, because then I can't really comment too much about like the actual balance of the tank, because I don't have the full range of it, and it doesn't talk about optics in there as well. So I don't know if thermal or not is coming back, but given that, I still managed to hit like 100 game with zoom optics. So I don't think there's too much of an issue if it's going to have thermal optics or not. If thermal optics are going to be in the game, though, there definitely needs to be a hard counter to them. So maybe it might be something to do with the EMP thing, or once again, how in Battlefield 4 you have flares, you had the smokes, which actually blocked the sights of the thermal. As long as it's a hard counter to it, I'm fine with it being in the game.
I feel like with thermals, it's not only just the hard counter, but in BF4 they're broken to the point where you can see through foliage extremely easily. And
Exactly.
like on the C flag, for example, on this map, if you have thermal optics there, it makes it would be really, really overpowered. I actually don't want thermal to come back at all.
Yeah, so that's why I'm not really too worried about if it's going to come back or not at this point, because I'm fine without them. And
Yeah,
I'm sure
exactly.
a lot of other tankers might feel otherwise about it, but it just is what it is.
I mean, I don't really want brain dead white dot clicking again in this game after
definitely not.
BF4. So
Yep,
No.
I agree with that.
Yeah, no, I agree with the thermal thing. It was fine in BF4, like I enjoyed it, but I don't think it's a good game feature to have. I would rather have them.
people hate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would rather have them make the visibility better than add thermal to the game. Which
I
is,
think visibility is a skill ceiling, though, right? I kind of don't mind how it is, like exactly right now. Like, if you can't see them, you don't get to kill them. Like,
yeah, that's true.
as infantry, I think you got to give them chances to survive.
The one thing
Especially
that
with how many vehicles there
the
are.
one thing that I
Yeah,
do
sorry.
mind is like in the scout heli, for example, where you're in third person and you can like everything is bright and nice, and then you go into the first person HUD, and it's like blue or grayed out. I don't know exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like that at all.
So I think it would be perfect if it was like the same as if it was in third person, you know? Like there shouldn't be a difference between the two, I think.
Yeah,
I do think the the distortion you get when the vehicle gets hit is really annoying. I would like that to go. It's probably the worst, in my opinion, that it's ever been in this title at the moment for the beta. In the other games, it wasn't too bad or was really manageable. In BF4, I think it was just non-existent. If you got hit by something, it didn't shake and blurt out your screen. And this, if you get hit by like a grenade, which, by the way, does like 25 damage to a tank, if no one's aware of that yet. It's just like I'll be trying to shoot something and my screen just goes all shakes up, goes all glitchy from just being hit, and I'm just like, it's how am I supposed to track when I'm shooting if I can't see? I don't want that. So
yeah, it's very, I don't know. I like the game, but the vehicle gameplay is just very, very questionable. I would like to see if they like what other weapons they will add to, like for example the attack heli and the scout. I wonder if I don't know if you guys know if they will bring a tow or a TV in the full game.
there's a tow, I believe.
There's a
there's
tow.
definitely going to be a tow. Yeah.
I think it's in the data mine, right? They said there's a tow for the attack heli.
Yeah, there's definitely a tow. I looked at it. If you go through Temporal's posts on Twitter, yeah, it has that. And specifically for the gunner, it just has the gunner. There's no TV, so which is very interesting. I'm not sure what the play with that is. So I do hope that if they do bring the TV in, it's a bit like what was like early on in Battlefield before they patched it. Not with like the whole you could kind of spam shoot them where like you shot one and then quickly shot the other, but like how it did like 60 or something damage. I don't want to have it to the potential where like it's just like a one trick, one hit wonder thing. So like you can just get a side shot and rush and then win the fight. I definitely would like some consistency so that, you know, it really pushes like the skill gap
Yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of us and a lot of OC people who fly air vehicles like really don't like one hits. I don't know if it's the same in like EU, but I feel like one hits in general in games are just really, really kind of annoying. Like shotguns, one shot, body shot snipers. I don't find the tow that bad. I mean, I think you can allow for a few of them, but like TVs, especially from the boat to the jet, like it can be really, really, really like strong. And you can just have people who will just do nothing but spam TVs the entire time. And it feels like it's a pretty cheap kill, like one-shot kills. I don't like them at all, to be honest.
I agree with the
Not a
TV
fan of one-shots.
part. But the tow missile is something I can get behind because it takes a lot of skill.
It takes a lot more skill. A lot more skill.
Takes a lot. You can get a
Anyone
lucky
can
one,
TV,
but
to be honest.
you know, I think the tow is a perfect way to put a one shot into the game. But yeah, like you said, the TV, I think like 60% HP. Like if you had two TVs, then you kill the chopper or the jet. I think that's a perfect way to do it.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I don't think it should one shot, especially not on jets. It's pretty hard to hit, but still, I think you can keep shooting TVs and the jet just has to dodge them all the time, which is a big problem, I think.
Yeah. It definitely differs in like public gameplay to like if it was in competitive as well. Like in public gameplay, that player, the one of 32 players or one of 64 now who's sitting in spawn spamming TVs isn't costing their team anything. So it's much less impactful for them to do that rather than if it was like an 8v8 or whatever, where you just wouldn't encounter that kind of gameplay as much. So
yeah, agreed. And have any of you played with EA?
No, I haven't yet.
I haven't
would
touched
never.
it.
AA. I touched it a little bit. I thought it was annoying.
Is it good?
Not really. Didn't enjoy it. I used it a couple of times, and I was just like, "This is pretty meh," and just didn't spawn with it again. So
yeah, the only way I notice it is because I like sometimes you feel like the tickle when you're flying
it tickles you up a little bit,
or you're like getting locked all the time. You're wondering maybe it's an AA, but yeah, against air vehicles it doesn't really do a lot. I don't know about. Wait, I see someone in the chat saying it lasers Infi. Well, I haven't tried it.
I've heard that actually. Someone told me on stream today.
I also haven't been killed by it as Inf, I think. So
I think I have been killed by it. I was on the B tower and there was just an AA up there and it fucking beamed me. And I was like, okay, go next.
What is the other land vehicle called?
Is it the buggy, the armed buggy?
Yeah, that one. Yeah,
Cybertruck.
Oh, no, there's a Cybertruck, which is the Ute, the electric Ute, and then there's the fucking buggy with the minigun on it.
Yeah, that thing is.
Those buggies are crops, bro. You rush their spawn and mow them down at the start of the game. That's all they're for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and
the
it's funny that
beam through them.
Yeah, it's funny that sometimes they're like shooting at you, and it feels like it's doing a lot of damage to you, but it doesn't, right?
Oh no, it doesn't do shit.
Yeah, like
I actually like how they did those though, because like for example, MRAPs in Battlefield 4, sorry, it's really hard to shoot out the gunner of that as an infantry. I don't think you can you? Or maybe from the back there's an angle. I don't think you can shoot the gunner out, can you?
You can, but there's like a specific angle, yeah.
Yeah, it's really hard basically. In this game, the gunner is in the driver's seat almost, like he's sitting next to the driver, so you can actually shoot them out as infantry. There's a little bit of counterplay there.
Yep.
Whereas in MRAPs, it's like, nah, fuck you.
Yeah, it's just a lucky shot or a small you shoot and then you shoot them out randomly.
Yeah, exactly. And I like how those are done.
I like the nice little feature. You can play music while you're driving around.
Oh yeah.
There's some heat, bro. There's some heat on the track right there.
I think they should do it like in GTA where you can import your own music. That would be fucking hilarious.
That'd be so good.
I'll be playing at the farmer.
Yeah.
Fuzzy, Air, and I got to record a mixtape. It's gonna come out. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, you have to. Everyone on the battlefield will be blasting it.
Bro, it's gonna be heat.
Oh yeah. Well, I think we've had most of the vehicles. Let's talk about the good part of the game. The infantry.
Let's go.
I really love the infantry. I think it's a lot of fun. The movement is great.
It's fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah, the guns are good. The one thing that I do feel is on range, the damage is a bit weird, I feel like. It doesn't do enough damage, but that could just be me. But other than that, I'm completely in love with infantry, especially with the grappling hook and stuff. It works. It's just amazing, I think.
Oh, there's so much outplay for infantry in this game. It's absolutely insane.
I do have a gripe with the was it the grappling hook? Every time anything hits you, it just causes you to fall out of the sky. That's a little bit.
Oh yeah, or if you get like a rocket pod, it just cancelled it. Like the
Yeah.
rocket pods in a little bit literally cancel the grappling hook. It's so
Yeah,
annoying.
but the one thing I do find a bit annoying about the movement is sniping. I think it's very hard to hit someone while they're, you know, doing some movement on a range. I think they should
Yeah.
increase the bullet velocity a bit.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. BF5 bullet velocity would be good here. I think they nailed sniping in that game. They can just copy that over. It'll be good.
Yeah, definitely. But other than
And
that,
then-
There's no sweet
Yeah, it
spot
feels good.
mechanic.
there's no what?
No sweet spot. Just don't bring that, and we'll be happy.
Oh yeah. I've never really
Yeah.
played BF1, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, I think the infantry right now is just spot on, I would say.
Yeah, it's about perfect. I feel like every now and then there might be like hit reg issues. I don't think it's as bad as some people say it is, but if they can just improve that a little bit. Obviously, I feel like everyone's had issues with the mouse feeling, acceleration, whatever. They improve that, they improve optimization and maybe the netcode on the servers, and it's perfect. It's actually perfect.
Yep, I have to agree. That's one thing, the mouse sensitivity is so off in the game. Apparently, I heard someone said that it's the game is emulating your mouse and keyboard movement into a controller. I don't know how right or wrong that is. Apparently, that's the reason to it being off.
I don't believe that, but also someone posted on Reddit, it's in my chat now, !sense fix. There's 2 lines you can add into your prof save profile thing that apparently fix it for a lot of people. And aside from that, you can go into the prof save and change all the values. There's one of them that's 1.15 by default, and you change it to 1.0. And I think it feels good now. I was actually playing off stream, and holy shit, like playing on the, I get like 190 to like about 190 FPS off stream basically, and the game feels insane. Like off stream, it's so good, and it feels much better. But I guess Shady and Fuzzy are saying they still have issues, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it later today, but I haven't tried it yet. But I think the mouse aiming is so inconsistent, especially for doing flicks or tracking.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
like you try to flick, and the one time you have to do this mouse movement, and the other time it's like completely different. I really don't.
Yeah, for me, tracking can just catch me out sometimes. Like I usually play with wrist, so I'll go to track, and usually if the sensitivity was absolutely correct, I feel like I would have completed the kill with my wrist, but it just doesn't feel consistent enough, and I have to transfer to arm, and I like start whiffing shots, and it just makes me tilted. And yeah, I don't know. It's kind of rough at times, but when it feels good, it feels so good. So hopefully they fix it up. It's a beta after all.
Yeah, that's true. The performance is also what they need to definitely improve on. I hope that it's already done, but I think it might be a bit of an issue in the future.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how much FPS you guys are getting.
On stream 130, off stream 180, 190.
That's
It's a crazy difference.
it's all right, but with your setup, you should have a lot more, right?
Oh yeah. My GPU CPU usage is at 50%, and I actually tested as well. An interesting thing in this game is, so like Intel has hyper-threading, which is basically you for each core you have a thread as well, or 2 threads per core, whatever. Basically, you double your threads. Anyways, if you use this on AMD, every single, like, half of your cores are 0% at all times. Like, the game doesn't even use half of your cores. Like, it's absolutely insane. The game has like, feels like it has no optimization for higher thread counts and stuff like that. So kind of disappointing, but I guess I can fix it hopefully.
That's, after all, it's a beta, that's true. But I think
yeah.
what's important is that they have the core right. Like the basis of the game is there. They just have to improve it now and make it better. But I already like the concept that they have.
Yeah, I think the fundamentals are all there, especially for infantry, and then on the vehicles, they just have to start from scratch. But is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. And someone asks, how do you guys feel about the extra armor upgrade? I wish it was more like a defensive perk upgrade, like in BF4.
I feel like the armor isn't even that good, to be honest. Like it's okay. If anything, it's just annoying. It just messes up with your timing. Like when you're in the zone, you know how many bullets you have to shoot per kill, and then you'll shoot some guy with armor and it won't kill him. You'll switch to the next target and it will just fuck you over. It's just a little bit annoying. That's all it is.
Yeah, I haven't tried it myself, so I wouldn't know.
I have tried it. I feel like it gives you a guaranteed 1v1 win as long as you do decent.
But what Shady says is something I agree with.
Yeah,
I
that's what I'm
also
saying as
hate
well. Yeah,
different TTK values. It's not we're not playing a battle royale. We're playing just a multiplayer game.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think like armor has its place in battle royales, but I don't think it has a place in the multiplayer game. The same way that I don't think defensive perk had a place in BF4.
Nah, I didn't. To be honest, no.
Then I had issue aiming after sliding, like my sensitivity changed suddenly. Yeah, that's that happens in the beta. It's just a thing that everyone deals with and has to deal with.
I didn't notice that, but I guess it could happen. Yeah.
How do you? I know it's very early, but how do you guys think comp will play out in this game?
It won't.
It
I feel
won't.
like I don't know. Like, I guess 5v5 could be pretty sick. Yeah. Like, if 5v5 will be good, like they're gonna have to make probably smaller maps in Portal because these maps are really, really big, and I doubt that DICE is gonna make some sort of Conquest small maps. But yeah, I think it would be good. They just have to ban a few things. Like, you'd obviously ban armor. That would be fucking like basically everyone would run armor in comp, right, for the extra TTK. I think it's fun though. Like, I think the game has such a skillful, like, high skill ceiling in terms of infantry. It could be fun.
Yep, I agree. But
I'm not a 5v5 player though, so I can't be talking here. Like,
but the thing
it's a bit
is,
shady, to be honest.
the one thing I think we also discussed this within Enter already, but the one thing we have to step away from, I think, in this game is the concepts we had in previous games. So,
Yes.
for example, we have the 5v5, 8v8, 10v10. We have to look on a different scale and on a different, why not do...
It's a different game now.
Yeah, why not do 10v10 infantry instead of 5v5, for example, on a bigger map? That's something that we also want to try and Enter is just... at the start of the game release, we just want to do as much different play events or test plays with all kinds of different modes and maps and just whatever you can think of. Just go completely crazy and figure out what works the best. And I think we'll eventually come up with something. I don't know if vehicles will be a part of that in the current state.
Can't be now. Not at this point.
Yeah, definitely. And someone says 6v6.
I think that's what the strength of Battlefield is, in my opinion, has always been. There's always just, for everyone, at least for pubs, the Battlefield experience is always different for them, like what they think Battlefield is. And it's almost come to the point where it's exactly the same for comp, right? So you have like your 5v5 scene, you have your Conquest small scene, and then you got these crazy like 32 versus 32 events. Like, everyone's opinion and what they want out of comp for Battlefield is completely different. But from being able to enjoy every type of form of comp there has been for Battlefield, a lot of them, like, it's enjoyable. It's definitely enjoyable to play. It's enjoyable to see. I would like to see Battlefield be competitive in the first place. So it definitely will be there. It's just, and what scale will it be, and like the organization behind it, and the tools, if they're there for us to be supported.
Exactly. But I think the mindset of going in with it with an open mind is something that we have to do, definitely. Because that's something that I see on Twitter or in Discords and stuff. It's always been the 5v5 scene versus the 8v8 and 10v10 scene.
Yeah.
They've always been, oh, this is better, no, we need this, we need that. And now again, I saw Anders do it the other day, like a couple of weeks ago, I think. Like, if you want you want comp to take off, you have to accept the fact that it's 5v5. And I don't agree with that at all.
I disagree as well. I think all of us disagree, like, on this show right now. But if you pull in Shady or Fuzzy, like, in the chat, then they're gonna say 5v5 or 6v6.
Yeah, but like... I played a bunch of 5v5 in BF4 as well.
Yeah, so therefore the answer is 8v8. The opinion closed, all right?
Yeah.
Fuck 5v5.
No. I just love both. I don't see why it should be one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand that mentality either. But I think the biggest issue and why I said at the start that Battlefield comp won't succeed or won't happen is in every single game, like literally every single game that has a really good comp scene, besides some of these new BRs where they have changed rule sets and different loot values, but the comp version of the game is the exact same as the public version of the game. Look at Overwatch. You can play ranked. It's the exact same as Overwatch League, or CS comp is the same as CS competitive or Valorant. All these games have the exact same public experience as the competitive experience, and I don't think that can ever happen with Battlefield. Like, I just don't think the 64 city 64 will ever be
No.
a valid competitive format. And
But-
unless it's in the Asian region, they'll definitely do it because they love the big modes.
I do think that we already discussed this as well. I think we can talk about it, but that if we do a comp scene, you already said like banning the armor, banning this, banning that. I think we have to look at the fact to, allow everything that's in the game to make it accessible for every player.
Yeah.
Even though if that means allowing some broken shit to be in there, but I think that makes it more accessible for everyone and will have more people watching and also have more people playing, I think. Because so far, comp has always been this like very niche thing where you have to like get invited to it, know people to get into it. Also, watching it is never really, the 5v5 stuff was fun to watch. But then I come up with the argument like, why would you watch Battlefield 5v5 infantry when you could watch CSGO, for example?
That's what I say as well, yeah.
It's fun to play, maybe, yes. But I think a Battlefield comp scene should be exactly Battlefield, right? We shouldn't try to be another game. If you want to play infantry only, I say go to, if you want to play 5v5, go to CSGO, go anywhere else. But if you want to play Battlefield comp, you have to accept the fact that there's multiple aspects of the game, and we want to showcase every aspect of Battlefield. Because what else is the point of making a comp scene in this game? That's what I think, at least.
Yeah, I don't think it's interesting at all if it's just trying to replicate a different scene that does it better. Battlefield has a really, really unique formula in multiplayer, so I would rather it be 8v8 or 10v10 or some vehicle-involved mode, but that's me, a filthy vehicle whore. What do you want to say? It is what it is.
And Knispel, how you feel about it?
Oh, I've always been in like sporting teams my whole entire life. So I have like a rugby league and union background, which is like teams of like 15, 16, 18 players and how we work together to play a game. And ever since I got involved in competitive Battlefield, just the way how each like player interacts with each other in the game, being like each one has a certain strength or weakness, I just instantly kind of related the two together. I felt like, having these 10v10, 16v16 events, that it really reminded me of, I don't know why, football, because like it was just like a very like constructive, like arranged and tactical thing that they put together. And when I first started playing it, I was just like, oh my god, I didn't know that Battlefield could be competitive. Like, this is amazing. I enjoyed that. So I do agree though that 100% going into this title, it's going to be very different, and it would be very unwise to disregard and start banning things straight up without giving it a fair go and seeing how it plays out. And the opinion of how competitive Battlefield is very different from what we play in public versus to what we actually play in comp, and how the audience relate to it. I reckon that's very true. Like, I'm pretty sure, I'm sure Dalton and Silk already know, Incarnate, he has the same exact opinion and view of it. And that's how he tries. I remember when he's arranging for like the level GG 32 events, he was trying to balance out the rules so that it was simply what was playable and not broken, but at the same time allowing for new people to come into that 32 versus 32 environment. And he just always had to like tweak little things here and there to make it sure it was balanced. But I would definitely agree that the comp scene needs to be somewhat like what we would see in pubs. But as far as what we're be given now, it would be some big questions as how we're going to balance that. And once again, the beta only offers us so much. We have one map, all the vehicles were restricted loadouts. We had probably like 10% of the guns that are allowed in the game. Like there's not enough for us to tell exactly. Hence, again, why I would refrain from just commenting on balance at this point, because we don't have enough. There might be some tools and gadgets that are meant to specifically outdo something in a certain scenario.
Yep. And I think what I would like to see, I think Breakthrough will be in this game or something like it. I think that's a great mode for competitive. I always thought
I agree.
yeah, I always thought Rush in BF4, it was very unbalanced on some maps, but I think that would have been a great mode for competitive. I don't know how you guys look at it, but that's just my opinion.
I reckon Breakthrough and Frontlines would work really well. In the early iteration of them trying to use it as a comp mode in Battlefield 1, I remember when I think it was at Marble Duck tried to arrange that. And because of how long it took to cap the actual flag zone, it didn't really work. It was just kind of drawn out for ages. But in Battlefield 5, I think it was the length of time to capture the flag was reduced, and it actually made for a better flow. I do think the thing they need to work on is the play zones, because you could have people sitting all the way at the back of the other side of the map and keep spawning off them and things like that. And so you can kind of get this push-pull kind of momentum of the game. But I definitely think Breakthrough and Frontlines are definitely comp modes for, at least for a large format, would definitely be
Frontlines could be good, actually.
Visit for sure.
Yep, I think so as well. But I think with Portal we'll hopefully have the ability to adjust the map and put a game mode on it, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
So we could. I don't know how much customizability we will have, but hopefully we'll be able to change the flags or remove a flag that we don't like, or I don't know. I hope we have enough customizability to change it all, and then it will become very interesting, I think.
As long as we're not going back to 10 years ago and we're just basically playing comp on Battlefield 3 again, I do think it's
please don't.
the whole point of playing a new game is for a new experience. So I hope if competitive does become a thing, that it doesn't revert to a format that we used from 10 years ago.
No.
That
yeah, facts.
Yeah,
I think 8v8, 10v10, it was fun. It had its purpose, it had its time. And I think it's now time to move on to something better, something different. And I think we need to completely let go of every idea we have of competitive and just start from scratch. And I think then we'll be able to build something that is very, very enjoyable. But the big problem will be, I know from Enter that we will just do whatever we think is right and fuck the old community, fuck what everyone thinks, right? We're just gonna try it, we're gonna see what works. Because now in the past BF4 events, there was always people crying, always complaining, and you would try to adjust your rule set for everyone. And I don't think that's something we should do now. I think we should just, have a close group of people, work on a competitive scene, publish it, and then see what the people think and go from there. But I don't think we should let ourselves get influenced by one or two people who disagree with the concept.
100%.
Yeah.
I remember the first time, my first ever experience playing competitive was for the 16v16 charity thing we did for Dirty.
Yep.
And basically the way that the jets works, I was flying jet and the other team was, I think it's Karmic. Anyways, we had access to both the attack and the stealth jet. And as soon as you die in one jet, you get to spawn in the next jet. And I'm like, this makes absolutely no sense. Why is this the case? Because you get to choose which jet you use, right? Doesn't matter. But if you lose the dogfight, the attack, you just fuck them in the stealth, and then you actually get your spawn timer sooner for the attack jet, and you farm for 20 seconds, right? And I asked them why that's the case, and it's oh, that's just the way we do it. That's the way it's been done. I'm like, but why? It doesn't make any sense. And we actually changed it on the fly. We changed it to attack jet only, and it was much more fun and much more balanced.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just stuff like that.
I organized that,
weird.
and I didn't question any. I was just the rules that were there, I just used them, and But I agree, there's a lot of rules in the rule set that we used in competitive that don't make a lot of sense, and that were just used for the purpose of using them, and because it's always been like that, so we're gonna keep doing it like that. And then there's also the fact of some people who have their view of competitive, and they are so vocal about it that it feels like it's the majority that thinks it. So yeah, another thing I think about competitive is that we have like the different organizations. You see, like ESB. I'm with Enter, Knispel as well. You have Level, but I think everyone needs to work together to make one unified competitive mode.
Yeah.
Of course, there can be other modes that spring off, and for example, I would love to see like a BF3 throwback event or a BF4 throwback event
100%.
in the new game. But the main focus of competitive should be like one unified mode with one rule set across all the organizations, and I think then it there's a chance of it popping off.
Yep.
It also help if organizations are willing to work with each other. So when I try to organize a comp scene again in our region, or just kind of like get it flowing, so that we basically went into the next Battlefield title with something, some kind of network going on, and people. I was having existing networks being like, approaching me and being like, "Oh, you're gonna work with this guy or that guy?" And I'm like, yeah, sure, I am." And they're like, "Well, don't post it here. Don't talk to us about it." Like, and I was just like, the region is already struggling as much as it is, and you're trying to like block and do brand loyalty at this point, and it's already hard enough. And as soon as they said that to me, I was like, I knew he didn't even care about competitive Battlefield in the first place, because he was more worried about his brand. And I'm just like, and there's no point talking to you. And so that's why I went to reach out for everyone else, because I want a competitive in our region. It's a joke. It's been for so long, just people putting plans together, not following through with them, or people being saying one thing, and then when it actually turns up, they're just like, "Nah, I'm not really interested." It's just, yeah, I can't wait for this game to come out. And I hope the tools are there so that there's almost no excuse, because it's a clean slate. Everyone's learning the game. It's new. And yeah, it would just be really refreshing to have something new at this point.
Yep. And the thing you said about the different organizations is something that I don't really understand either. Like, no brand is making money off this. Like, there is no way that any organization making like organizing events is making money off of it, or it must be like a very small amount. So I really don't understand why you're like, my brand. Of course you want to grow your brand, but why does that mean that you have to exclude another brand, right? Why can't you just coexist and grow together? And I think that's something that we need to work on in 2042.
Well, at the end of the day, like, success of Battlefield comp isn't mutually exclusive. If one competition does really well, pulls a lot of viewers, then that's a lot of people who are going to be interested in Battlefield competitive, and they're going to watch the other events from different people. So by fucking over some other event organizer, it's not going to benefit you. It's actually going to be a detriment in the long run. But I think there's a lot of pettiness and stuff like that, especially, I know the Knispel situation, this guy who runs this esports thing, I believe it's now shut down because the guy went live on stream doxing everybody. So it's a lot of real petty shit, honestly, in Battlefield comp, in an OC at least.
Yeah, but I think it's the same in content creation, right? Like, sure, there is some sort of competitiveness between the content creators. Like, you want your channel to grow and to be the biggest, but that doesn't mean that you exclude each other, right? Like, we see it with Revosect, you guys work together, you also raid other people.
100%.
And I think that's something that some content creators struggle with, and I think organizations struggle with a lot more. But I don't like. I think the thing you guys are doing is like very good. You pull everyone with you, right? Like, if someone else gets more viewers because of you, then his viewers will also come to you. So I don't understand why there's this competitiveness. Like, the competitiveness I understand, but I don't understand the, how do you say that? Like, the hate towards each other. That's something that I don't get.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, especially with like YouTube. I understand Twitch a little bit because you can only be viewing a few streams, or I think 2 streams at once you can count as a viewer. But yeah, at the end of the day, everyone in this current like kind of Battlefield community, like the more tight like OG community, everyone like supports each other. So for example, if my stream's doing really well, I'll constantly be giving props to people on stream, or like I'll always raid someone who's actually a Battlefield player. So it's not going to hurt you if my stream does well, or it's not going to hurt me if Focus does well, or someone like that, because everyone's kind of supporting each other. So
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, that's how I see it, especially.
And then
It's just also a less toxic environment. So I totally
100%,
cut you
yeah.
off there. So like the way you look at it is, like to do simple philosophy here. If one person's doing well and you're giving back to other people around you, it just creates this like flourishing environment of just like positive energy where everyone kind of thrives off each other and everyone comes into it, and you just feel more upbeat to being in that environment. And you just like you log into Discord or Twitter or um, Twitch, and you just feel great because the whole community around you is just positive, and I think everyone wants that. Like, I can't imagine any other way. Like, it's just really good to be in the communities like we have right now, and doing podcasts like this where we're all just talking together and just sharing ideas and our thoughts and agreeing that we want positive things for each other in the future. And I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what you brought up there is like the biggest reason for me starting this is just to have like a place where everyone comes together and just talks about whatever, But just to have like, I think that's something that we missed in the past in Battlefield is the unity of the community. Like, sure, we've had communities, but there's never been this big thing where everyone just, vibes together and plays together and talks together. And I think that's something that we need. Especially
Yeah,
with our scene being, for now relatively small, I would say. I don't see why we shouldn't work together, all of us.
Yeah.
And I think with the next game, like we've seen in the beta so far, but the game is a content machine. Like,
Oh, I'm literally making a thumbnail right now, and I'm just thinking, like,
exactly.
It's so fucking easy. Like, that's why I look a bit distracted. But yeah, like, the game has so much stuff to do for content. Like, the boys and I were gonna get in the fucking Condor and just ram some helicopters and VTOL that bitch. Like, there's so much stuff. And no, Yabba, it's not pre-recorded. Yeah, the game has it's great for content. I actually don't mind if the game ends up having a shallow vehicle skill ceiling, because I know I can still make content on it, and I can have fun either way.
Is this pre-recorded? No, this is not pre-recorded.
No, yeah.
But yeah, like the content, I have this feeling where it's like the first time you played BF4, right? Like, you can shoot at stuff, you can do silly stuff, whereas in the previous, like Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1, there wasn't that much of it, right? Like the trolling, the messing around, and I think that's a great thing for the franchise.
Well, like Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1, not gonna lie, like World War isn't fucking content, honestly.
No.
Like, like it's so grim. The color scheme on BF5 is gray and brown, and like the game is a World War game, and it's not supposed to be content, man. Like, it just isn't.
Yep, I agree. Do a handstand. Can someone do a handstand?
No, I can't. No fucking way, man.
I don't know, is there something else you guys want to talk about beta-wise, or do you think we should cut it here?
I think we covered all the points, really, unless some questions in chat. Like, if anyone's got some questions or topics that would
we
like
want to talk about, yeah.
Exactly.
I'm just trying to think myself.
Yeah, I didn't.
Put
usually
Shady on the spot here.
Usually I prepare everything, but no, it was like very last minute.
No, it was good though. It was good.
But I don't.
I'm just trying to think of something, but I can't really think of much.
No,
Question time.
With the pressure on Shady.
Crossplay.
Oh yeah, that is a good topic.
Oh, that's actually a good call. Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I haven't had any issues with aim assist or crossplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No, it's been really good so far, but I've actually talked to some console players, and they have the issue where they're saying the aim doesn't feel like it has, like, they say they like raw input feeling aim, and apparently it doesn't feel great right now. So honestly, I 100% will believe this. They're gonna crank aim assist to fucking 11, because aim assist sells, man. Like, it feels good when you beam through an entire squad using your little controller sticks. Like, it feels good, and after you do that, you're gonna go to the shop and you're gonna go juice up some microtransactions, and that's at the end of the day what EA wants. So they're gonna turn up aim assist if they can make people do that. So Yeah, apparently auto aim is bugged. Yeah. What Shady said.
What do
But
you
right
think,
now, it feels really, really good.
what do you
And
think about the
yeah, Crazy.
potential longevity of 2042? In my opinion, it looks like a game most people won't play for a while for entertainment reasons, judging by the beta. That's what I feel with the game. It's fun for me and enjoyable for a couple of rounds. It could be because, you know, we don't have all the loadouts. There's only one map. But that's what I feel about the beta. Like, I play it for 2 or 3 rounds, have fun, but after that it's just, you know, I stop and I do something else.
That's why I feel like I enjoyed the beta for this game than I did more than Battlefield 5. But to be fair, I had a pretty crappy rig when Battlefield 5 rolled around. I only had like 30 or 40 frames. It was weird because the alpha performed so well for that game, and then the beta came along and it was trash with performance. But that's going back in the past. Yeah.
For me, I feel like I think a lot of like if you stream the game, it's much easier to keep playing because you can keep on trying to create different types of content and entertain your stream. But on your own, yeah, one map, one mode. Currently, the vehicles don't offer too much depth. If I wasn't streaming, I'd say I'd be playing it for 2 or 3 hours at most a day. But even then, I think, yeah, like the game has plenty to learn. The movement's absolutely insane. Gunplay is really good. I can definitely play it for like a long time and keep myself entertained. And as long as I feel myself improving a little bit, I just keep playing games. So,
And
yeah,
this
I
is
think it's
something that I've
pretty
felt about this game, is that they're setting it up to be like a game that lasts for multiple years. That's what I feel like, at least with Portal, Hazard Zone, and then the normal multiplayer. I feel like they're like making this game like, you know, Warzone, for example, right? Where they keep adding
yeah,
new
it's
stuff.
going to be huge.
And I think that's what they're doing with this game. I could be completely wrong, but at least that's what
I feel like it's a Battlefield. It's a complete Battlefield overhaul. Like it's
Yeah.
not just a game. Like it's more than a game from what I can tell. Like it gives you everything, and it is. I feel like they're really coming for COD with this game. Like in terms of the gunplay, the vehicle mechanics, easy enough that I think a lot of people can get into it, and obviously the movement is very similar to everyone's favorite COD movement, which was 2019 Modern Warfare. So
Yeah.
size 13 and a half PGA, Mr. Jackson.
Oh man,
US size 13.
I have no idea.
I'll answer questions at this point. We'll take anything.
If you guys had to choose a different map for the beta that they showcased, what would you have picked?
Kaleidoscope. I think I
Yeah.
speak to a lot of people. Smallest
I think
map.
I would.
Yeah,
Yeah.
same.
Highest action, smallest map. The Levolution. I haven't heard about any Levolution in that map. I think it's just a tornado, right? So it's kind of like there's no real cheese to it.
Is there going to be
No
tornadoes?
weather effects.
Is there going to be tornadoes on every map?
Yeah, tornado is just constant. It fucks everywhere.
God.
Bro, I can't wait. I'm gonna make a YouTube video like you know those redneck like, hey guys, it's Alabama tornado chasers, and we're gonna hop in the F-150 and we're gonna chase that motherfucker. Like there is content to be had there, tornado chasing in the fucking Cybertruck, man. Like
Hell yeah, brother. Let's get on it.
Yeah, I think that would be a blast to watch.
That'd be good.
Why did they have to invent new mechanics and physics for vehicles? Because it's a new
They
engine.
didn't.
It's a new engine.
Is it a new engine?
I think so, right?
I thought it was BF5's engine.
Yeah, but it's not BF4, right?
I mean, BF1 has BF1 is BF5's engine, though. Maybe
Yeah.
it's new.
But
Either way, BF5 plane physics could have came through, in my opinion, and that would have been much better than this.
yeah, I think that guy was probably referring to BF4 mechanics. And
Oh.
like I think they nailed the vehicles in BF4, like the scout heli, attack heli, like the movement and stuff. But we can't expect it in this game. Like it's been 8 years, the franchise has moved on, and different things will happen.
The more I actually fly in this game, the more I get used to it, and I don't even care. Like, you can still accomplish the same things in this game that you can in BF4. And people are coming into this game with the expectation that is the BF4 successor. And they never said that. It was never actually claimed to be the BF4 successor. So you just have to treat it like a brand new game. And you can still learn to do some pretty insane stuff in this game in terms of flying. But the weapons need to be changed entirely. And the jets need to fuck off, basically.
Yep.
Completely restart. Bring in my A10. I want the A10 and the Fan 10. Just do that, please.
What red flags did you have really bad gut feeling about regarding the trailers they released about 2042?
I got
Red
one
flags
if no one
about
wants
the
to say anything. Okay, I'll go first. Like, I think the biggest red flag was that they were so fucking hesitant in showing any actual gameplay. They would never show more than 2 seconds of gunplay. They never showed jets until the very last second on the beta trailer. Like, if they showed those jets in their exact state at the start, I would have been so sad. Like, I would have known exactly what was going to happen. They only showed like 2 seconds of gunplay at a time. They never showed tank turning speed or turret speed. Like, they were very secretive about everything, and that's the biggest red flag for me, because I think they would have been prouder of everything otherwise.
And Knispel?
Yeah, no, that I would definitely pretty much the exact same thing. Like, if they were proud about what they were gonna bring out, then they should have just showed us, really. But at the end of the day, most of the trailers, I know the whole point of a trailer is to market their game and look nice. So for Battlefield veterans like us, we're not going to get really much out of it because it's all for show, right? So it's more they're trying to, try and get their stocks up at this point. That's what all that stuff is for. And we won't get anything that shows us what the gameplay is going to be like until the very last minute. So it sucks for people like us that are very passionate about the game, but for most of their people that they're marketing to, which are just casual gamers, that's what sells, and it's Michael Bay cinematics, like, so
They did a good job in terms of marketing until the end with the delay, with the lack of communication. But all until then, everybody was talking about the game, and like it was for no reason. Like, I feel like they went with a Donald Trump mentality. Like, any publicity is good publicity, because everyone's talking about the game for whatever reason. But the fact is that 2042 is everywhere before the game released, so they did kind of well there. Until they delayed the game and didn't talk and didn't communicate, that's when they started to fuck up, in my opinion. But
yeah. And for me, the biggest fuck up was the fact that they posted a meme in September.
Oh, that was bad.
And then they end up delaying the fucking game. That is...
that was too cringe, man. That was really fucking cringe, to be honest.
Yeah. And
whoever posted that meme's fired, bro.
That combined with the fact that they said they were ahead of development, and then they post that meme, and then they delay it, is just... And
then actually seeing the game right now, it's clear that they were not head of development. And then their excuses as well, they said that it was COVID. I talked to like 20 people maybe who work in like this kind of profession. Not the exact same profession really, but a lot of them said that COVID doesn't affect it that much. Like, I feel like they just use the default excuse there.
Yeah, I feel like that's the standard excuse nowadays when the game isn't ready. They're just like, yeah, it's COVID,
Fucking COVID, mate.
Maybe delay it because of it. I mean, I'd rather have them, to be honest, me personally, I would rather have them delay it again now.
No.
I think
I like the game how it is, and I just can't fucking go back to BF4. It's actually gonna be so demoralizing.
Yeah, that's
I just
true,
can't, man.
But
I just can't. I'm sorry.
Maybe they should have delayed it longer and put the beta off as well. Is what I think.
Yeah, I would be fine with that.
Yeah, in the first place, like, I think they should have just went with the safe option of maybe 2 months instead of 1, and then release a good game. Not a buggy mess at launch, but. This is an old build, so we'll still have to see if that's the case.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think Battlefield uses... So basically every other game manufacturer uses betas as a demo. Battlefield, on the other hand, seems to use betas as their actual purpose, which is testing. So they'll always release some fucking absolute horror show, and they just get everyone to test it, and they improve it after that. Like, I feel like that's how they've always done things, but it's not a good look for the game. It never has been.
But then again, on the other side, releasing a broken game it's gonna be fun, right? Like finding all the bugs, finding all the stupid shit that's in the game before they fix it.
I mean, there's a content creator, it's fine, I don't care.
Yeah, I think
I've seen some pretty crazy movement glitches that you can do, like just like interacting with certain terrain and like launches you 30 meters.
I mean, Fuzzy figured out how to teleport the other day. He did some double slide teleport move. Once people know how to replicate that, it's fucked, bro.
Yeah,
I think I saw a video from I think it was a old comp tanker. I think it was an Ace.
Yeah,
Kind
Ace.
of just appeared back out of nowhere, and I was watching back one of his footage, and he teleported outside of the tunnel. So he was going through the tunnel to get to another flag, and all of a sudden he hit something, and he was on top of the hill, and he was looking down at everyone that was like camping the entrance, and he just killed them all. And I thought it was hilarious. Just small things like that. This like making no sense whatsoever.
Like
It's
sometimes I find it frustrating, but you always have to keep the humor in mind, and then it's tolerable. I think when we take the game serious, then you'll get frustrated and you get tilted.
Yeah.
And I also saw a clip by Anders where there's a guy on top of the helipad, and he like vuzus basically down to the ground, and Anders couldn't track him, and he was like in the ground, and then he killed Anders. It was very weird, yeah. And also
it's very common on that tower. Like if anywhere you jump off of that tower, that seems to happen a lot. I mean, I haven't seen it happen anywhere else on the map except from that top of that helipad in like that whole tower area. It's crazy. It's like the body actually tracks where, you know, when the Zuzu, like how the texture box didn't actually match where the hitbox is. It's like it's actually following where it actually goes, but seeing what it looks like just completely throws you off. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I think what Hunter says is true as well. I've been having lots of fun, but I don't want to be fighting my heli to be allowed to aim. I think that is also a big thing.
Hunter, you on rifle aim or AD?
He's on AD aim.
Yeah, so I think Reaps had the same issue. You can't do very, very precise movements with your A&D, right? Is that the issue? Yeah, I really want to talk about that in the video, and hopefully they have some method of actually listening to people, because I think you can aim with rolling, but that's so fucked. It's emulated controller? Is that... I feel like that's not confirmed by DICE, but I mean, they'll never confirm that.
Yeah, and also what I feel like is very annoying is the fact that when you press W on your keyboard, you go up but also forward. Whereas in the old, like in BF4 for example, when you press W or S, it goes up and down, right? But when I press W on my keyboard, it just moves the heli forward as well. So I'm like constantly fighting against going up and going forward. It's pretty annoying.
I feel like with the controller emulating thing, it's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like, I don't think that this is what they're doing, but like, imagine if instead of doing aim assist, they're doing mouse and keyboard desist, like literally nerfing mouse and keyboard to make them closer instead of nerfing buffing controller. Like, I really hope that's not the case, man.
Really do hope that's not the case.
Yeah, well, what Hunter says at Tactical Brit, I've also spoken to people who flew with controller, and they say the movement and the heli feels absolutely fine for them. Like
I feel like mouse and keyboard is fine for me, but I guess I'm used to it now.
Yeah, I think because I went back to I played heli for like a couple of hours on 2042, and then I went back to BF4, and trust me, when you're going back, Silk, your aim is going to be completely gone. Like I can't aim for shit anymore.
Oh man, I was talking to a fucking mate about Mazer. He said he was playing BF4 and he whiffed his miniguns on the infantry and he pressed 2 to pull out the rockets to finish him off in BF4. Like, oh shit, there's no rockets in this game, no crutch.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny, man.
No, I didn't.
The controller dead zone config fix. Wait, can you link that? I actually want that.
That would be a pretty nice thing to have.
Yeah, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what the current build looks like when they release it. And
Same shit.
Very excited to try the other maps.
Yeah.
Because I think the map design, it's not the greatest, but it's all right, I would say.
I mean, I think it's kind of excellent, to be honest.
Really?
Like in terms of, yeah, I really like it. Like in terms of how the map is divided into, like, so like in terms of like what's actually fucking you over, you can choose which side of the map you want to go to. And the B tower feels like Siege as well. Like there's plenty of action up there always for infantry, and you can use it to get to whatever flag you want to get to. Like I kind of enjoy it. Like it's pretty fast paced, and using that kind of elevation to get from flag to flag is really good. And all the zip lines to connect rotations. Like I'd never have problems getting around the map. I actually really like it. But
also, what I think maybe what the bigger problem is the spawns. That's what I have the biggest problem with. Like For example, Charlie, you spawn just always in the open in the lake thingy, and I think they should rework the spawns a bit on certain flags.
Oh yes, yeah, that's a big issue.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's any kind of code right now that changes spawns based on where the enemy players are, because I've had people spawn right in my crosshair before. So yeah, but they need to have some sort of either spawn. I don't think spawn protection is good, but they need to have some way of making sure that people don't get spawned in front of your crosshair.
Yep.
It's just bullshit, I guess.
And yeah, he isn't saying the heli. That's true. That's very true.
Yeah, 100%.
It'll be very interesting to see the fact what DICE was going on about how if popular by demand, like they were going to be in maps from the past. Like we already know there's about 6 maps they're bringing back, which was like, was it the Bulge, Almain, Archie Harbor, was it Valparaiso, Caspian, and North Shore. It'd be very interesting to see what other maps they could bring back, that they could bring into this setting as well. Because I think there's a couple of maps from Battlefield 1 would actually go really well in this current setting if they brought them forward. Because like some of the maps in that game, they were infantry focused, which were amazing. So I think it was Fort de Vaux or something, which is like the French fortress. It was like a way better version of Lockers, where it wasn't like bottlenecked or anything, and it was just kind of like constant flow. I would love to see that map in the 2042 setting with all the gunplay, etc., because I think it would work really well. But it'll be very interesting to see what kind of maps they will bring.
Yeah, and aren't they also? What maps are coming to Portal? Actually, I don't really know. Or is it like all the maps of the games, or just selected ones?
At this point, there's a Battle of the Bulge, which I think is from Battlefield 2042, as long with our main, and then from Bad Company. I never got to play Bad Company, so if anyone here can correct me, was it or the pronunciation of it? Archie Harbor and was it Valparaiso? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Once again, dyslexic. And then you got from Battlefield 3, Caspian Border and North Shore Canals, which I'm pretty sure there's a lot of inhumanes that are going to be craving the North Shore. So,
especially with the current infantry setup.
Oh, it's going to go hard.
It's just very interesting because like they definitely said, I remember when they were talking about, they're like, if people voice up enough about it, we'll bring it into Portal. So, which leaves my question for you guys, really. What would be 3 maps off your head that you would love to see come into
Paracel Storm, Lost Islands, Dancer Strike, Attack Jet. Yep.
Oh boy.
Good Rush. Okay.
I don't really know, actually. I think what Maddie says, propaganda. Propaganda, definitely. There's a map I would love to see in this game.
Yeah, Propaganda's good. I don't know why I like Heinem Resort. I feel like it's a really fun map for a few different vehicles that I like playing, but I feel like mine are really, really biased. But Zavod should definitely come back as well.
Yeah, Zavod, definitely. But
that's the best map on BF4 out of the vanilla maps, in my opinion.
But I think they should bring Zavod and not include, or bring in a mode as well, or maybe we can make that actually, but more infantry focused, less vehicles. That's what I think it would make it a great map.
I've always felt that map played better without an IFV and AA, honestly. I found the best version of Zaphod was actually the Graveyard Shift version. I really enjoyed that. It was just less vehicles. It was like the kind of perfect balance of amount of vehicles and just infantry gameplay, and I loved it. I've infinitely enjoyed the Graveyard Shift version of it. As far as my free maps, I actually didn't really get to play Battlefield 3 at all, really. Like, I just joined. I think I started playing Battlefield again because I was really young when I played Battlefield 2. I was probably like 14, 12 at the time. And then I just moved on and carried on with life, so to speak. And then came back for Battlefield 4 and I played, was it Dragon's Teeth? From the limited experience I played of Battlefield 3, Sen Crossing, I would love to see that come back because I played that map for maybe about 3 hours max and I loved it. I thought it was an amazing map. I would love to see that map come back. That's off the top of my head if I had to pick one map, but the other two, I would probably overanalyze it if I had to pick 3, so to save us time.
Oh yeah, but I think what you say there is a very solid map indeed.
Mm.
I just like close maps where like you don't have to spend a lot of time having to run around and trying to find people. So like, I'm just trying to think of a map like Hamada. Oh boy, I hate that map because you spend more
Fuck
time running
Hamada.
around.
Wait, what is
You spend
Hamada
more
again? I'm gonna
time.
Google it.
The desert,
Battlefield-
the giant fuck off desert from Battlefield 5.
Oh man, yeah, yeah,
Imagine,
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, imagine Silk Road. That will sum it up.
Or
That
what
would
is
sum it
the
up.
what is the map in BF5 with like the hangar in the
Sandstorm.
middle?
Oh,
Hanging in the
aerodrome,
middle- oh,
aerodrome.
Oh man, that map is terrible.
That's
I
not
hate-
the
They could've
worst one. That's actually on the
that's not
middle
the
of the
worst
BF5
one.
maps, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, it's a terrible map, but that's in the middle. Like, that game has some really shitty maps.
That
Yeah.
map could be infinitely made better if they just added 2 more things for like cover. The whole one side of that map is just nothing. There's no flags, no nothing. It's just open ground. They could make that infinitely better if they threw in like another structure or something for people to fight over. That would have made it so much more better than just open ground and just this one center objective that they're fighting over. It would have made it so much better. They did definitely improve on cutting down the high ground area so the tanks would sit up there. I didn't enjoy the fascination of actually sitting up there. It was pretty brain dead, so I rather got closer to the objective. I was probably one of the few tankers to actually play aggressively in that game because it was the only way I could enjoy it. But it was, yeah, that map was probably in the middle tier, I would say. It's definitely on for others. It could be definitely a bit lower, but it was definitely in the middle tier. There was some god awful maps in Battlefield 5, and there was probably about, I reckon, off the top of my head, maybe 4 maps that I could play repetitively. But that's 4 maps out of what? How many? 12?
Yep.
13 that we had? Like, it's not enjoyable. If the rest of the other maps are a write-off, then we're really screwed. Which is what
Honest.
I'm worried about the next the next Battlefield is what, how many we got, we got Orbital, which, do we all enjoy Orbital to what it was?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's good enough.
The map that I'm scared of the most is Hourglass. That map terrifies me. It is just a giant desert and then this huge verticality area of these towers. I'm worried how the repetibility of playing that map's going to play out. I am looking very forward to, was it Manifest, which is like I guess
Singapore
a
one.
knockoff. Yeah,
Like
it's- yeah,
canals in the
it-
middle,
it-
or crates in the middle.
yeah.
I don't know.
So it
Looks
gives you
good.
that nausea canal. And what I think was it someone of the developers or something early on was talking about, every single map has a place on that to play a certain style of the game, from slow pace to vehicles or just all that infantry like clusterfuck kind of thing. So I'll be very interested to see how that map's going to play out. The only maps that really I'm kind of like worried about how they're going to play is, once again, Hourglass. Was it Renewal, which is that one where it's like one side's a desert solar plant and then the other's like a green like farm,
Yeah.
and Breakaway. I feel Discard might be actually really good. It just, they haven't really shown us much of the play area of that, unless someone's got a screenshot of what like the top down view of that map looks like. But it could be a better version of Aerodrome or something like that. Always those maps where they have like this big solid massive structure in the center and then all this stuff to play around kind of reminds me of things like Zaphod and Aerodrome, where they have like that big feature in the middle of the map and then there's just all these extra stuff around it that they focus on.
I think.
But for this matters,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, go on. No, you go. I've taken.
I think Hourglass looks like a new Gulf of Oman, in my opinion.
I can't believe no
Oh.
one's scared of the big one. What is it called?
Breakaway.
Breakaway. That's the one that worries me. I mean, they're already marketing it as the big Battlefield map, and the big Battlefield map's always the bad Battlefield map. So I don't know. I think that one just
True.
sounds absolutely terrible.
But I'm more concerned about, Orbital is, in my opinion, pretty big. I think it's a pretty
Yeah.
big map. Especially with, even though it's 128 players, it feels like a 48 player map on BF4, I think. Like you can get some kills on it, but there's like very limited action always, I feel like.
I
So
feel like the people who are playing the game a lot are already starting to hit those 4, almost 5 kpm games even on foot. Like it can definitely be done in a way. I think as people get like more and more like confident on the game, it might feel smaller, but I'm just not sure. It is big though. I agree.
yeah,
I
but
do think a lot of people explore that map as well because I can guarantee you, holy crap, I have found some rats just exploring like the backside of that map. Like, I think there was one time I was coming out of like uncap on like the Russian side of the map, and I was driving down to like the center flags, and all of a sudden I look behind me and there's an AA tank from the other team. I'm like, why are you there? Like outside our own uncap, like they're just like, roaming, exploring the map because it's a new game. I feel like once the game's been out for a little while, you run into less of that because people are more like, oh, I know how to play the game, or I know what to do, kind of thing, and so you won't get at that as much. So I do think it will play a bit better once people figure out how the maps are played.
Yep. I think Orbital is like, fine in that aspect. But what I was getting to is like, imagine the bigger maps, because this is like the
that's not
third
true.
biggest or the fourth. What is it? I can't
I think
remember.
isn't it the middle?
I think it's the middle. So there's like 3 maps that are bigger than this, and
Yeah.
I'm really worried about how those will play, to be honest.
I mean, how do we feel about Breakthrough? Is the Breakthrough the solution to these massive maps? I feel like it might be because
think-
it just funnels everyone onto a
I think
smaller
it
area.
might be. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Breakthrough is going to be the go.
I think the 128 players big maps thing is, in my opinion, a marketing move. There's nothing else. There's nothing else behind it. There's no reason to up the player count and to make the maps even bigger.
Yeah. Well, it's always that one angle that Battlefield has. It's the maps are bigger in this game, so you should play it. But everyone who actually knows anything about the game will know that that's not a good thing.
I found the post where they're talking about like the map sizes. I put it in the chat. This is from someone's Twitter post, and it's trying to compare the size of the map. So like Kaleidoscope, it looks like it's about the size of Rotterdam. And was it the next map? It's about the same size. Oh no, it's comparing Nosha Canals to the size of it. And then Orbital, which
I
think
hate the scale. It's such a bad scale. I just want to say that.
I feel like it's about. This is what I want to bring up: is the blue extra like light blue area? Is that actually even playable? Because I feel like Orbital was nowhere as big as what I thought it was compared. Like in that, like I feel like a lot of the play area of Orbital was just access to the air vehicles, and the rest of the map is actually quite small. So I like you have to take this with a grain of salt, right? Because how much of that area is actually playable area for like the most of the player base?
I think this is including air vehicles, to be honest, because it's more of a marketing move to say that there's more area than less area. So
exactly,
that's the way that they would go. I feel like it's interesting though. It's a good point.
I like the bigger player count. I think there's nothing wrong with it, but I think it hurts the performance too much for what it is.
Yeah.
I think
it's slightly.
They could have achieved the same thing with. They could have achieved the same thing with a good map, a big map, but with a lower player count. I think.
I remember playing Venice Unleashed 80 player BF3. I think 80 player servers on BF3 was actually really, really fun, and I think 80 players is fine. Like I don't think the 128 and the massive maps are necessary at all. Yeah. And I mean, I have a 5950X and a 3080 Ti, and I can't run the game at over 200 frames. I haven't met anyone that can, and I can only imagine for the recommended specs even are just not going to be able to run the game at all.
Yeah, I also don't understand why they had to double the player count that they had. Why couldn't they go for 80, like you said, or 90? Why does it have to be exactly double? It's something that it's pure marketing, I think, and it
is twice as big, twice as good.
I wouldn't mind it if it wasn't hurting the game, but I think it is at this point. But yeah, we'll have to see what the full release does performance-wise.
I'm having heaps of fun. I don't care at this point. Just anything but BF4, man. Just like stream sniping UCAVs, stealth jets. Fucking hell, man.
Actually,
I'm having so much more fun, bro.
Well, what you brought up, stream sniping is something we haven't talked about. Have you encountered any?
Once actually, in the OC scene, there's a player called Sparky1290, and he is a fucking weapon. I would like to say I'm on the good side of Sparky, but he has no boundaries. He can turn against you at any single time. And I was just getting like my friendly helicopter was just shooting rockets at me as I was going to base raid the enemy team as I usually do, and I was just like, who the fuck is this? And he just starts ramming me. I'm like, oh, it's Sparky. Okay. He's the only person I've seen who's actually managed to do it. And of course he would, because he's the goat of stream sniping. But yeah, it's happened once. That's it.
Spiky is the reason why I feel like I would never stream. I don't want to run into that
Dude, you
beast.
do not want to, man. And you don't want to be on the wrong side of him. Just, yeah.
Oh boy.
That's for sure.
Let's see if there's anything else that they've asked. Not really. Don't do BF4
Well,
like that. Yeah.
Why does everyone think that at the moment there's quite the possibility there might be no in-game browser, and you might just have to put a preset of like, oh, I want to look for this particular maps, etc., and then you join? Because it looks like at this point you can only just press, find the server button and it'll find you a server and you go straight in. There's no actual looking for a particular server, which is probably good for people like that are definitely streamers, because then it makes it a bit harder for them to be stream sniped in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I feel like, yeah, it all depends on how good the maps are. If the maps are really good and all of them are enjoyable, then there's no issue with it because you would play through all the maps. But it's great having the option to pick out the good maps and the maps you actually want to play. Let's say you only have an hour to play the game. You don't want to be playing Hamada Panzerstorm on BF5 or, Silk Road and fucking Dragon Pass on BF4. So just having the ability to dodge bad maps is quite nice.
But
and they're going to lose that now.
I don't see why they would remove the server browser now. Like they've had it in all the previous games. I don't see a reason to why they should do it.
Well, I wouldn't put it past them, so...
Well,
yeah.
The thing that's scaring me is I feel like they could be having it as a server browser, or no server browser, sorry, to introduce SBMM at some point.
Oh, yeah.
How do people feel about that? How does everyone feel about SBMM in Battlefield?
No.
Shit,
No.
right? Terrible.
Don't do it. I think SBMM doesn't work in a single game. Like for me, For me playing COD, I in the past I enjoyed COD, like when I was a console gamer, but now I just can't. I just can't. Like even like Modern Warfare, I enjoy the game, but it's just so bad. You have one good game and you get punished with 20 bad games. And
yes,
I hate it. I don't think it has a place in any shooters, to be honest.
Especially, I get it, SBMM, so it's basically ranked matchmaking. It works in a game, let's say like Counter-Strike or like chess, but you don't put it in like Battlefield or fucking tic-tac-toe. Like, there are games where it is extremely skillful and the better player will always come out on top, and those are the games where you can have SBMM. But in the games where there's a little bit of bullshit and a little bit of like dumb stuff in the game, you can't have it. You just can't.
Highly agree.
Yeah, I think it doesn't have a place in the game at all. Like you said, ranked is what it should be, but SBMM shouldn't be there. Either you have a casual game mode, and then a ranked game mode, or you don't have, But I don't think you should have SBMM at all. Is there... Can they... Yeah, that's actually another good thing that someone brought up. The vote maps. Do you think they will...
Ooh.
Do you think they will put that in the game?
They should, man. They really should. Because if the maps are shit and there's no server browser, that's the exact way around it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I actually like that. That's really, really good.
I think they should include that in the base game, like in the just vanilla experience.
Dude, for the monetization as well, for Gold Edition or Ultimate Edition owners, they should make you have like 5 votes so you can just swindle the vote.
or you can buy like extra votes, right?
Buy votes, yeah. I remember I played on this Battlefield server and the admin liked me, so he's like, hey, we've given you this special VIP, mate. Just whatever you vote, you get. So I was just like Lost Islands, Ninja Strike, Parasol. I was just like giving myself all these attack jet maps. It's absolutely fucked. I'm not complaining if they do that.
Maybe they will introduce like loot boxes where you can get the votes.
I mean, it's EA, man. Come on, now. Like, they'll do it. If there's money to be made, they'll do it.
Oh boy, what's the one thing I'm looking forward to is all the skins that we're gonna get. Are we gonna get some fucking weeb shit in there and stuff, like just so we can put the most cringiest like looking skins on our like guns and vehicles and just watch people mold and chat. Just I can't wait to see like some of the skins that we're gonna be able to pull out because they're gonna do it. That's how they're gonna make their money. It's how they're gonna make their stonks. So.
Bro, I can't wait to get my anime skin attack helicopter. And it's going to make so many people angry. I don't even watch anime, but I'm buying those skins if they release them. I remember I ran an anime emblem on Battlefield 4 just to make people pissed off.
You did the same thing in War Thunder, bro. I remember you put it on one of your War Thunder planes. Yeah.
I had a fucking hentai F2 Saber jet, and it's just such a meme, bro. I haven't watched any anime in my life, but I'll do it to piss off boomers.
It's so good.
Yep.
It's so funny.
And then we would all wear the Ubu tags and we just, we became
Exactly.
do we know if there's a Metro or Locker type of map? I don't think there will be. Maybe
there is in every single one. They'll make one.
I think Discarded could be it.
Nah, Discarded's got like tanks.
Manifest would be the closest.
I would say
Manifest. Yeah, okay.
There's an underground area on Kaleidoscope from what I've seen, so
yeah,
that could be something.
I think
once again,
for me, Kaleidoscope is one of the maps I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, it looks really, really good.
Like the possibilities there with the skyscrapers and the underground area.
Spider-Maning between buildings.
Yeah,
dude,
yeah,
it's gonna be sick, man.
It just looks like to me a Battlefield map. Like it actually looks like a Battlefield map. The good kind.
It gives you like that vibe, right? Like the scale and the epicness of it. I think it looks really
and it just has a bit of everything. That's the part. So I hope that map is everything I'm looking for, because if it is, you probably could guarantee me finding it. If there's a 24/7 server of that, I'll be on it.
Yeah.
A Kaleidoscope with 10 FPS, yeah. That's what will happen.
Scary possibility.
It's going to be either that or Manifest. I feel like those are the maps that are going to be
Kaleidoscope
fantastic.
Might be the new Siege or Dawnbreaker. No, I don't think so.
Nah.
Just because it has skyscrapers and has the the visual aspect of it, I don't think it will be like that at all. Do you
think it'll be like?
Yeah.
Do you think it'll be like a better version of maybe like Caspian or Zaphod?
Yeah.
Like it's really hard to describe it. So like you have,
maybe Zavod. Maybe Zavod actually.
Because like you know how Zaphod has like that middle area, right, where partially some of it's underground. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they've got that part, shoved it in the map, and then it looks like they kind of like expanded on like the outside area. You know how Caspian border has like, you have the hill, right, and it has like that kind of like like foresty area with a few buildings on the outside, and they're gonna have that on the outside of that Zaphod area, right? And then on the edge of that, you're gonna have like these kind of like Siege of Shanghai vibes of these tall towers, right? So it's like it's kind of got all these elements from different maps, and they've tried to pick them together to see
what it looks like. For me is they've taken Metro, the BF3 Metro, the above ground part, and they've put that in the middle of the map, surrounded by like Siege of Shanghai, like Dawnbreaker style skyscrapers, and there's a tunnel right on the map.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's great. As long as like every single time they do these underground sections, it's really, really good. I think some of the later maps on Final Stand in Battlefield 4 started to realize that. But it counts as vehicles a lot, and it makes it a lot more bearable for infantry when you add flags that only infantry can access.
Yep.
And especially if vehicles are going to be overpowered like they are right now, or at least air vehicles are, then you need to keep doing that.
Yep.
So that's one of the issues with Orbital. That's the one issue that I think prevents it from being like a really good map. There's almost nowhere that only infantry can impact the game. Vehicles can impact everything in that map.
Yeah, there's not much. To a degree, there is some hard cover, but not enough hard cover.
Yeah.
What else do we have? I think we've talked about pretty much everything now, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe the last thing that I'm wondering. Oh wait, someone else has a question. How many people will play standard BF24 maps when Portal is out? I think 24/7. Yeah. the question is, how will they handle Portal, right? Like, how will the servers be running? From what I've heard, it's you join a server, you make a server, you join it, it's running, but the moment you leave it or it becomes empty, it goes away, right? Something along those lines.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm interested in is that could work. If you have like, for example, someone makes a very good mode with his own like his own rule set and stuff, and it would be interesting to see if you could just copy that and put it on your own server. So you would always have servers running that certain setup. I think that would be interesting to see. But yeah. And then the last question I was wondering through is, what will they do with the servers, right? Will they have hosted, like server hosts, or will they all have like DICE servers?
It's already confirmed that. So basically, there's going to be both. There's going to be DICE hosted ones, which are basically the DICE are going to make some official experiences. For example, BF3, 1942, whatever. And they're also going to pick the best of the community ones. Like, so people will vote for whatever the ones they like most, and DICE are going to make those officially supported. But then for the fully custom ones, which the community makes, you basically create it on the Battlefield Builder. You export an in-game key, and then when you put that into the game, it hosts a server. And as soon as you leave the server, or as soon as the server depopulates, it closes. As long as there's one person in the server, it stays up. That's how it goes, I think.
And is there anything known about, like what I said, the configs that you can copy from other users?
Yes, you can copy. You can take people's configs and edit them for yourself.
All right. So I think
you can build upon people's configs.
Then if like, for example, there's like a unified, like I think that everyone loves a config, then you could have multiple servers running on that config. And I think that's how Portal could potentially be really good.
Yeah. I just don't want Portal. I don't know if I'm the only one who feels like this, but I don't want Portal to outshine the main game. I've already played... I haven't actually played 1942, but I don't exactly care about another World War II game because I'm so sick of BF5. I don't want to see it ever again. But I don't really care about that game. I played BF3. I don't really want to go back to it that much. I'll do it here and there. Maybe that's how I'll get my jet fix. And what's the other game they're bringing back? Bad Company 2? Yeah, maybe that could be fun here and there. But either way, like those are all old games. I just want to focus on the new game. So hopefully it doesn't outshine that for me.
What I think
split the player base, yeah, exactly.
What I think will, in my opinion, will be very good is when you have all of these Battlefield games with their weapons and their maps, but you just put everything into one server, right? Like all the maps, all the weapons, all the vehicles, just put it all in there. And I think that could be a very, very funny thing to see.
It's definitely content, yeah. It'd be fun to do for a bit. I think all that stuff gets a bit cheesy at some point.
Yeah, definitely. Like it's supposed to be this fun thing where you can mess around, but I don't think, like you said, it should outshine the main game.
Yeah. Hopefully the main game's good enough to shine on its own.
Yep. And then the final part that we haven't talked about, Hazard Zone. There's nothing known about it except for some leaks. What do you guys expect from it?
I feel like it's going to be a Gear Fear Tarkov loot shooter type thing. Because they said it's not a BR.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it has to be. Unless it's the classic, it's not a BR, but it's actually a fucking BR. I think that's the other option right there.
Wouldn't put it past them to do
100%, that's the two options for me.
Yep.
I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what Knispel thinks about it.
No, I honestly think that's what's gonna be. It's either gonna be something a bit like Tarkov, or it's not a BR, but it is a BR. Like they're just gonna put their own little twist on it, kind of thing. As long as if it's not Firestorm, because oh boy.
I've never played it, so.
Do you want to know how fast it died in OCE? Me and my mate Hung Mammoth, we played 2 games. A Firestorm. Next day, couldn't find an Australian server. That is how fast it died here. Literally within 24 hours, it was a flop.
Was it really that bad?
I'm sure for other people it wasn't, but I think it was around the time when Apex just launched. So like it really was just the worst timing for it. Like, just got absolutely slapped into the corner. I think at that point.
I think a really good opportunity for Hazard Zone is actually to make it free to play, like a Warzone type thing, and make it like the not a BR but a BR type thing that takes a few things from the main game and consistently gets updated alongside it. I think that's the best case scenario for it.
Yep,
I definitely agree with that one.
All right, we've always been live for 2 hours. I think we're gonna cut it out here.
Crazy.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Knispel and Silk, for coming on short notice.
My pleasure as always.
Yeah, no worries. Good time
talking about it.